Welcome to the Young and the Wrestlers, the Pop Culture's WWE podcast. I'm one of your hosts, Ryan Best, alongside
the Big Jem Machine.
Jem.
You
listen to us every Friday morning at 8 a.m. on your podcast services of choice, including Spotify, and 9 a.m. on those YouTubes. If you want to join that wrestling conversation, head over to facebook.com/group/the Pop Cultures. Have a chat with us there. Discord is also available. We can chat to us on Twitter. Yeah. All those links are in the description below. Pardon me. If you want to join the conversation live, head over to patreon.com/popculturist. Support us at any dollar value. You get yourself a nice little sneaky private link. You can come join us live on the Thursday evening as we record the show.
Yeah.
If you want to support us in a more once-off fashion, head over to popcultures.com/shop. Buy shirts like this and other assorted shit with our logos on it. We are also on Twitch. Twitch.tv/thepopcultures. I've got hiccups apparently. Someone have a drink. Just a minute. I would ask you how you were, but if you watched the video that happened like, I don't know, just a minute ago, we already know. So have a chat while I drink a drink.
Good week. Good week of wrestling. Very good week of wrestling. Full action-packed, full on.
It was. So we've just, like, if you haven't already, we had just put up a video about Extreme Rules.
Yes.
Wrestling pay-per-view for this month. It was pretty sweet.
Yeah, pretty sweet.
Not too bad.
It wasn't too sweet. It was maybe one sweet.
Yeah, it was just a bit sweet.
Just a bit sweet.
Yeah, bit sweet.
Bit sweet. Just half one.
Goes alright.
Goes alright. It goes alright.
Oh man. Oh, so speaking of, it's going alright, and like being super Australian. As I was just looking at the local wrestling promotion, it's called GCW. They have a match versus some guy who looks like a crazy psychopath versus a dude named Mitch the Tradie.
I love it. I love that so much.
He's in like the yellow bright like jumper. He's got an S and he goes,
I love it.
I'm like, oh, I need to see that.
Yeah, I love it. Mitch the Tradie. That's great.
Yeah.
That's so good. I love it. I absolutely love that. Oh my God.
But yeah, so sadly he wasn't on this week's episode of Raw or SmackDown.
He was not.
However, from my understanding now, if Dash is in the chat, he can confirm this for us. This is the beginning of the Heyman Bischoff time.
Ooh.
So this is the first official
Hey-Bish era.
The Hamish era.
Hey Bish.
Hey Bish.
Hey Bish.
Hey Bish.
Yeah, exactly it.
The Hey Bish era with Heyman running this bad boy this week, and I believe Bischoff should have been there, but he wasn't at SmackDown this week, at last I heard. But anyway, let's just jump straight into it because that's what we do here at the Young and the Wrestlers. My phone, and yeah, okay. Easy done. Kicks off, so we should mention he's in Long Island, New York.
Yes.
And starts off with that's Brock Lesnar, makes his way in, crowd goes bonkers, shows footage of what happened at Extreme Rules. Paul has a chat. Paul mentions that he's been amazed that he told the truth.
Yeah, everybody's amazed. He's like, you tell the truth and everybody wants you to tell a lie.
Yeah.
And then goes on to mention that he is the one pulling streaks around here at the moment.
Yeah, he's like, plainly, he's like, look, as you all know, I'm the one that plays. I'm the big guy around here. I'm the big kid on campus. So I have some things.
Yeah.
So then he announces what they're planning to in order to line up the next contender for the Universal Championship at SummerSlam.
It is a 10-man cross-brand all-star battle royale for the number one contendership for the WWE World Universal Championship heavyweight. Brock Lesnar, undisputed. That one.
You're pretty close. But yeah, so the 10 gentlemen
which
involved
they announced
in this,
gracefully.
they did at the start of the stretch, was very cool. So it was Seth Rollins, Randy Orton, The Big E, Cesaro, Braun Strowman, Rey Mysterio, the Big Dog Baron Corbin, Sami Zayn, Booby Splashley, and Roman Reigns.
Damn it. Interesting 10 superstars.
I liked it. It was a good selection.
Yeah, definitely good selection. Obviously, because you are seeing former friends go head to head in this. Killer says Bischoff just started today.
Okay, cool.
Yeah, so I was really interested to see this. I think that was a good way. Obviously, Heyman did say he's pulling straight, so it's a good way for him to show his authority in this now. Awesome way to start a show. Awesome way to get your hype to stick around. interesting 10 superstars, especially obviously coming out of Extreme Rules matchups like Baron Corbin and Seth Rollins and Bobby Lashley and Braun Strowman. It would have been really...
And Cesaro in there after having that dope match. Big E, now a champion holder.
Yeah, exactly.
Rey Mysterio after getting fucking mussed last week.
Yep. And
Sami
Randy
Zayn
just
have been missing for a while.
Yeah, Sami Zayn's been sort of out of nowhere as well, which is good to see them back
Randy
on.
Orton, who's also been away for a little bit.
Yep. Great selection. This made me want to stick around for the end of the show. It started off beautifully. I love the way that Paul is starting shows. I love that there's no video package bullshit. It's just straight to what it needs to be.
Yes.
Yeah, brilliant. I was really excited about this, and they just sort of leave it at that. And as they're making their way out, Ricochet enters. Yeah. And there's this beautiful moment where like Brock's just staring down Ricochet, and he's just like, pff, just shrugs it off and keeps going. I thought that was really bold of Ricochet. It really says a lot. As we did mention, we did speak about before, apparently Paul Heyman is really blowing smoke up Ricochet's ass, so this was interesting to see. He's a huge fan, yeah. So it was really interesting to see this sort of exchange. I loved that, knowing that information as well. So, yeah. Interesting, because this brings us into Ricochet having a match.
Yeah, I'm going to slide this over to you for a little bit. I'm going to let you have some
fun. Okay. So, yeah.
Hey, you seem to be on fire today. I don't want to break that momentum, so...
It is announced after this that Ricochet is in a 6-man tag match, which is a 2 out of 3 falls. It is Ricochet and the Usos versus The Revival and Robert Roode.
Dude, I was so surprised to see Robert Roode.
Yeah.
Absolutely big surprise.
Yeah.
So, you know, as we mentioned, this is now the Heyman times.
Yes.
If this has any control, like he's already brought out someone out of nowhere. I'm like, sweet. It's a thrown together tag team, but I'm happy to see Roode back on TV again.
Yeah, and it was really interesting to see the pairing of the Usos with Ricochet, because they do have very similar styles. So obviously very high flying, very fast, very maneuverable, whereas the other teams are very hard hitters, not too high flying and stuff like that. So beautiful sort of balance between the teams there. Obviously, the Usos, when they come out, they always do that stupid "Welcome to the Uso Penitentiary."
Saying that the last 2 times, like they did it Extreme Rules, did it here, wasn't too painful.
Yeah, it wasn't too painful. Short and sweet is what they didn't drag it out too much. So yeah, Ricochet off the bat, he does this knee drop thing.
I'm pretty sure they called him Old Ricky.
I think so.
Yeah, like you ready to rock, Old Ricky? Like
Yeah. But yeah, Ricochet does this brutal like knee drop face thing, which is called the recoil, I believe.
Recoil.
Yeah, recoil. Yep. Absolutely vicious. Absolutely loved it. Drops Roode in a couple of seconds. First pin, done and dusted.
Push.
Yeah, and they reset for the second fall. Throughout this match, at one point, Ricochet does this little dance in like old school Uso styles, which was super cool to see him sort of matching them. Gave that real like tag team feel to them. So yeah, set up for the second fall, which does go to Scott Dawson. I can't remember how he got it. I kind of sort of zoned out because again, it was very much like the Revival versus the Usos again, which is a rematch from from Extreme Rules.
Yeah, our brains almost like just set up to be like, boo.
Yeah, exactly.
It is
just
Revival
white
versus
noise.
Usos,
Yeah, so it was very, very a lot of the same. Dawson did get the second fall. Obviously,
maybe a shadow machine.
Probably. I think so, actually.
If not who got the third fall?
It would have been the Shadow Machine. But yeah, it definitely was a Shadow Machine. Which cut to a break, so we could reset for the third fall. So as again, Ricochet gets his vicious recoil and gets a 630 on Scott Dawson, I believe, for the pin, for the win. They win the third fall. Obviously, Usos and Ricochet are the winners of that match. As they're celebrating, the club, AJ Styles, Luke Gallows, and Carl Anderson start to make their way down to the ring. And Ricochet immediately like launches himself out of the ring onto AJ Styles, which he starts getting beat up by the club, and then the Usos get involved, and then the Revival and Robert Roode get involved. So obviously the bad guys outweigh the good guys, and even though obviously the good guys are trying to get their upper hand, they do end up getting this shit beat out of them in the nicest way possible. Ricochet cops a massive phenomenal forearm from AJ that literally sends him flipping.
Yeah, this is where one of the arguments we've had. One of the things I've argued before is that the Phenomenal Forearm needs to be treated like an RKO, as in it happens out of nowhere and it's rad.
And that's exactly
like none of this
happened.
pre-start. And this is exactly what happened here. There was none of that.
None of
I'm
that
going to
pulling
adjust
the
my elbow.
elbow
It was
and
just
jumping.
bush,
Yeah.
and it
Cleaned him up.
It caught Ricochet in that same level of off guard. So in order an attempt to try dodge it, it got that momentum started. So when he got hit, it just gave him a backflip.
Yeah, absolutely.
Land on his
vicious.
fucking face.
Yeah. And then that was the end of that. The club finally eventually leaves.
Yeah, so there's like AJ rubbing the US belt in Ricochet's face, stuff like that.
This brings us to another video we keep seeing every week when the Viking Raiders are being shown. We do see them in that eerie red lighting, and they're just backstage being eerie and scary. They make their way to the ring for a match. There is a little video package for earlier in the night where they're talking about how, the Viking Raiders is not just a name, it's a way of life, and we will call on the savagery of...
As Corey said, they are literal marauders.
Yeah, and they do say we will rain down the savagery of the Norsemen on any fool in our way. And they get to the ring and they're facing Jobby McJobbison and Jobby Jones.
And his tag partner, yeah.
Yeah, so I was really pissed with this, obviously. I'm sick of seeing the Viking Warriors, Viking Raiders, whatever they're called.
Machine.
War Machine, the Viking War Raiders.
Oh, funny enough, because I'm a member of the Reddit. Subreddit for Squared Circle. I did put up a thing like, well, if this is in fact the start of a new era with Paul Heyman and Bischoff, what should this new era be called? Because apparently the era that we have right now is just called the new era.
Yeah.
So what would this new one be called? And someone called it the era experience.
The experience era.
You win.
Yeah, I love that.
Like done. This is
the
made.
Experience era.
The other one was attitude, but one of the T's is a 2.
Attitude. I like that.
Yeah, that was really
That's
good.
really good. After this, we do get a video package of the Undertaker match with Undertaker and Roman Reigns versus Drew McIntyre and Shane McMahon.
Shane McMahon.
Yep, McIntyre. This cuts to Drew McIntyre storming backstage from earlier in the night, busts into the locker room. There's Cedric Alexander, Finn Balor.
Looking very like Swish.
Yeah, glasses on, looking very... They're all laughing loud. There's No Way Jose is there as well. They're all having a bit of a laugh and stuff. And the Street Profits were in there too. Drew McIntyre comes bashing and is like, I told you last week when... or the week before when...
That was last week, yeah.
Yeah, last week when Cedric revealed himself as Gary the Goat
Garbett.
Yeah, he's like, you thought that was real funny. He's like, I told you once I was finished with my business at Extreme Rules, I have business with you. I'm going to completely dismember you. I'm going to tear you limb from limb. And then he just sort of smiles. He's like, I'm just joking. That's illegal. I'm going to beat the living shit out of you.
I'm going to kick the fuck out of you.
Yeah. And Cedric's like, yeah, you might think this is a joke, but I'm not joking. Tonight, the joke's going to be on you. And I was like, oh, Cedric's talking big. And he takes off his glasses and gets all sassy up in Drew's face. And Finn and all that are just like, oh, damn. This brings us into the match of that is announced of Drew McIntyre versus Cedric Alexander, which I wasn't expecting much, to be honest. I figured Drew would just completely dismember him and that'd be that.
Yeah.
Quite the contrary. Yeah, Cedric Alexander did some amazing shit. He did... there was this vicious, Drew McIntyre was coming up the top rope and copped a vicious drop kick from Cedric Alexander. That slingshot thingy that Drew does.
Yes, it's where he hangs him over the back and then propels him forward from the feet with the face.
Cedric does his beautiful counter to that into a roll-up style pin and gets the win.
Yeah.
Cedric Alexander beat Drew McIntyre. I was not expecting that, but
good.
It was dope. Yeah.
Didn't know lumbar check, which made me sad.
Anyway, beautiful spots from Cedric Alexander. Taking cut back in. Winner chicken dinner. I was very impressed with that. I really enjoyed it.
That was good.
It was good to see.
Yeah.
But still, Drew McIntyre's a machine. He still looks vicious because he did basically dismember the guy, and it was just a lucky roll up.
Yeah.
So after this, we get another video package of the kickoff show at Extreme Rules with Finn losing to Shinsuke Nakamura. And it cuts to Finn talking about the match. He's like, I lost, but I don't dwell in the past. I look to the future. And he's looking for a way to move forward. His only way to move forward is the fact that Samoa Joe is standing in his way tonight. So he does have a match with Samoa Joe. He's going to go either over him or around him or straight through him to move forward and get what he wants. And then this cuts to Joe out in the backstage area, in a different backstage area. And Joe's like, oh, really? You're going to go over me, around me, or through me? He's like, I'd like to see you try. He's like, Joe's like, this is going to be my night unless you're planning on calling the Celtic heroes of old to smite me down in your stead. You're going to come to the ring. I'm going to tell you what's going to happen. You're going to come to the ring. I'll be waiting. I'll beat the living shit out of you. And Samoa Joe and his big black shiner from the night before make their way to the ring. So this cuts to another video package of Brock and Paul earlier in the night. And Charlie ends up and then it's got Charlie backstage talking to Roman Reigns about something, and she's just like, you obviously had an amazing win last night. How do you plan to carry that momentum into tonight? And Roman's just like, look, it's my week, from winning the ESPY to the premiere of Hobbs and Shaw alongside my cousin The Rock.
Oh yeah, I got invited to press screening of that.
Oh, nice.
Yeah. Didn't go.
You should have.
I think it's like next week.
It would have been good.
Probably could still go.
Yeah, it'd be cool. And then obviously the win last night with The Undertaker. He's like, the only way I can finish off my night is to take the number one contendership for this match. And this is all of this happens while Joe's entrance is still going on in the ring. So it cuts back to the ring with Joe waiting, just like he said he would. And then Finn's entrance happens. So Finn comes in. Really short match.
Yeah.
Samoa Joe just completely dismembers Finn, just balls straight through him, gets the win. Even though he's just won the match, he decides to just power through Finn again and starts beating the living shit out of him. Finn ends up getting the upper hand.
He's got a lot of frustrations having lost another championship match.
That's true.
And this guy was nearby, so that's pretty much what it came down to.
Joe's emotion, his crazy man emotions gone in the way. So he starts to attack Finn, gets the coquina clutch with Finn, beautifully counters and ends up just powering through him. Even though he lost the match, he essentially wins this little tussle, and as he's celebrating, his music starts to cut out.
Yeah, it's
weird.
like dun,
and he's like, lights start to drop. You see the screen on the ring that slowly starts cutting down in thirds, and then all of a sudden it's black. And then you hear this noise, this doozing, and somebody in the ring, and you hear this noise, and all of a sudden light sort of cuts back in real eerily. And the Fiend is standing there holding Finn Balor. And I was
in the Sister Abigail.
Slams the Sister Abigail on Finn and just throws him out and just stands there viciously. And I was just like, this is it.
Yeah.
And I think I peed a little.
Yeah.
I was so excited. I was like, whoop.
Everything is we were pretty...
We were sure he was going to come out at Extreme Rules.
Yeah, we were pretty confident he was going to get involved in the Aleister Black match.
Yeah. I was set he was going to be there, but no. But tonight, absolute beauty.
Yeah.
That was a beautiful way to show him. And what annoyed me, though, is every shot they showed, they didn't show the full shot of the Sister Abigail. So I haven't seen the move properly yet. So I don't know what it actually looks like.
Pretty much so it's almost like he lays them backwards. So it's almost like a backwards.
Yeah, so I saw how he was holding Finn.
And then it's just a big flip over.
Oh, like a flip back.
Yeah.
Okay, interesting. Obviously, spoiler alert, they do show the video again.
It's just Abigail's old move.
Yeah. So they do show, I haven't seen Bray Wyatt at this stage. Yeah. So they do show on SmackDown a better angle, and I do get to see the Sister Abigail. I was like, oh, vicious. But that was such a cool nod. This sets me up to think that we are going to have the Fiend versus the Demon, which I personally would love because I love gimmick against gimmick. That'd be super cool. Obviously, Bray Wyatt with the hurt heel thing is clearly trying to call something out of Finn.
See, what makes me wonder? There's a couple of things here. Speculation had.
Speculate.
So if there is a match at SummerSlam, Fiend versus Beast, Beast never loses. So how is this going to go down?
Very interesting.
Only because it's like, well, what the Fiend, if this is his force that he claims to be, he can't come into his first pay-per-view match and lose.
Yeah.
It's a couple of things. So Finn Balor himself has actually requested some time off.
Mm-hmm.
So maybe he'll take the loss and then be forced to recontemplate, because like he brings, because he talks about how each time he brings out the beast, a little part of him is lost, right?
Yes.
So maybe this is that time that he brings out the beast and it actually works to his disservice.
Yes.
And there was an interesting point there that maybe there's a new inner sort of working that he has to go with, because you know how Joe mentioned the Celtic warrior, like
they're calling it the Celtic.
Maybe he channels a different different character, I guess, because the beast and the Fiend are a little bit similar. Maybe he goes and takes some time away, comes back as the Healy man.
Keeler makes the point. You keep saying the beast.
Sorry, I mean the demon. My bad, the demon. I'm also very tired. So the demon, sorry. Maybe by having the demon lose, it forces him to recalibrate, rethink, and then also maybe come back and be part of the club.
Yeah. Yeah, interesting. I think it could also, for me, I think there could be the possibility of a stalemate and it gets revisited later on after Finn's have time to, I guess, refresh.
True.
I don't think that'd be as fun, but it'd still be interesting because obviously they're both formidable forces. So
yeah, I do certainly think that the Finn will be required to bring the demon out.
I definitely think so.
Take on Bray Wyatt.
Yeah, there's a mental thing there.
Although it was cool to see the Fiend and do the Abigail, very cool.
I want to see what Bray
I want to see
does.
Bray. I want to see more Bray. I want to see what he has to say after this, because we haven't seen him in a couple of weeks.
Yes.
Since last time he was in the Firefly Funhouse.
Yes.
Which was quite a number of time ago. That's not a word. Quite a little bit of time ago. So yeah, it'd be cool to see where they're going with that.
Yeah.
Very cool.
Very interesting. So after this, we do get Drake Maverick and his wife Renee Michelle checking into a hotel. Mm-hmm. He's like, this is a beautiful place. This is going to be perfect. Exactly what we need to consummate our marriage. He checks in under the name Mr. and Mrs. 24/7 Champ. And she's like, the guy's like, okay, welcome, Mr. and Mrs. 24/7 Champ. And she's like, you checked us in under that name. And he's like, oh, we have to. It's an alias. If I put our real names, like, people are going to find us here. And he pays off this kid and he's just like, I'm going to pay for this in cash. And he's a
couple hundos.
Yeah, a little extra for yourself. And she's like, we want the most romantic room with the most expensive bottle of champagne. And he's just like, yep, whatever she wants. Like, I'm consummating my marriage. And as they walk away and take their room key, you just see R-Truth sort of pop out from behind a wall. And he's just like, hey, do you have somebody checked in here? Yeah, do anybody checked out the name
Hornswoggle?
Lowercase H.
H-O-R-N Swoggle.
Yeah, lowercase H-O-R-N Swoggle. And he's like, I got this little friend for you. He's nice and crisp.
It's literally a dollar.
It's literally a dollar. The guy's just like, and they start typing and Truth is like looking over his shoulder all like seedy. Literally as Drake and Renee have just walked away. And this cuts to a TV and the Street Profits are there and they're like, oh, Drake hasn't consummated his marriage.
So this is saying, like, this is where moments like this where they are doing that fourth wall break and they are like self-referential.
Oh, I love them.
Yeah, it's almost like they are the Deadpool of...
And they're so good. They're so good. And they talk about like, maybe he's scared because he's never actually done it before and this stuff and a bit of a giggle. And then they go on to talk about like, anyway... Who's going to win the women's fatal four-way? It's, Naomi.
Yes, we should mention there. It was announced that there will be a fatal four-way match for the next shot at the Raw Women's Championship.
Yep.
And as you mentioned, it was Natalya,
Naomi Carmella, and Alexa Bliss with Nikki Cross. And one of them's like, is Nikki Cross going to be there? And the other one's like, the graphic says so.
That's what the graphic says. Yeah. So they're self-referential. They're aware.
Yeah. And he's like... oh, damn, well, Alexa Bliss. And he's like, dude, have you got a thing for Nikki or something? He's like, well, she's intense. And Dawkins is like, yeah. Yeah, she is. And it's just so great. It's so beautiful. And then they're like, what about the 10-man battle royal? Who's your pick? And Dawkins is like, oh, it's definitely Monday Night Rollins. It is the Rollins. He's going to take that out. And the other guy's like, yeah. Yeah, he's like, Big E. Oh, no. Yeah. And then he's like, but I think Rollins will take it because he wants to smoke. He wants to smoke, and they do that like, we want to smoke thing, which is really funny. I love those guys. They're definitely, I love seeing them. They're just that comedic relief. They're just a bit of fun. We've obviously got the 24/7 stuff there, but they just make that extra push of comedy.
Yeah.
So next we have Zack Ryder in the ring, and we don't know who he's facing, and suddenly it cuts to backstage and Mike Kanellis is getting ready. Maria comes up and she's like, I'm taking this match. And Mike's like, what? No, you're pregnant. And she's like, I know, I'm carrying the child, but we have a better chance at winning this than you do. And he's like, no, but, and she's like, too bad, and just storms down and out to the ring. So his music starts playing. She starts storming to the ring. Referee's like, no, you can't. And she's like, don't you dare stop me. And Mike comes up and is like, no, seriously, I've got this. Watch me, I've got this. Gets into the ring, gets buzzed by Zack Ryder in a couple of seconds, get pinned. Ryder walks off. Maria sort of looks at him like, oh, damn. And then she gets a microphone and she's like, see, our unborn child would have had a better chance at winning this match than you do. And she's just fully ripping into him.
The fact that they've got Maria unleashing on Mike so hard, like, I really wonder where they're going with this.
I don't know. I feel like it's going to be like this whole like, oh, I'm so sorry, it's just because I'm pregnant.
Yeah.
Like, you did this to me type thing. But at the same time, I'm kind of interested to see if it'll just...
Like, I do still wonder whether they're going to go down the line of, is this Mike's baby?
Yeah.
Like, you know, Drake Maverick fails to consummate his marriage because he's impregnated the mother woman.
Yeah. Interesting.
He's the GM of 205 Live. The Canals are on 205 Live.
That's true. Rough Rider is the move that Zack used, and a pin. Yeah, and the announcers make a point of saying, and here is your winner in less than a minute, Zack Ryder.
I've never heard that before. But
neither have I. It was a nice touch. It was a very nice touch. And then she storms off, obviously pissed at Mike Kanellis. And this cuts to the club backstage as they're chatting away. Another 6-man tag match is announced for one fall, and it is the club versus the Lucha House Party.
Yeah, and surprisingly, this match didn't go for 14 seconds.
Yeah.
The Lucha House Party actually got some time.
Yep, and that's something I did say here. I was like, it's nice to see the Lucha House Party actually wrestle.
Because there was a time a while ago where Lars Sullivan was just mussing him.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
But saying that though, because once he got injured and had to bounce out for a little while.
Nothing for them to do. It starts the match with
Speaking of, did you forget that he was around?
I did, yeah. Yeah, I did actually. Until I saw the Lucha House Party, I'm like, oh, they're not getting buzzed.
Yeah, I was watching Lucha House Party. I haven't seen them since...
Oh, that guy.
Lars Sullivan.
Yeah.
Wow, when he got pushed really hard and then went away.
Yeah. So Grand Metalik starts the match with AJ Styles, who just throws his shirt at him and then just attacks him. Tactics. It works.
Yeah,
good on you, AJ.
Works.
But as the match is going on, one of the club members is in the ring.
I have to blow my nose again. I'll be right back.
And AJ Styles, standing on the apron, gets hammered. Out of nowhere, just a Ricochet appears and just starts beating the shit out of AJ Styles. A massive brawl ensues between these two guys, which officials, there's about 4 or 5 officials, referees, some guy dressed in black has to drag Ricochet out of the ring. And the match gets sort of restarted shortly after. It cuts back to the match. Obviously, a bit more of the Lucha House Party actually wrestling, which, like we said, was super nice to see. It ends up with AJ getting tagged in eventually again, and the crowd just rips the roof off with boos. AJ is the most hated man at the moment, and it was beautiful. Absolutely beautiful. He does eventually get a calf crusher on Kalisto, who taps out, but AJ just doesn't let it go. Just will not let it go. Eventually, when he does, he and the club celebrate. I love this side of AJ Styles. I've said it numerous times. As a heel, I find him really, really entertaining. He is a very, very strong, vicious competitor. When he was the good guy, he fell flat for me. So this is a really good angle for AJ Styles, and I'm really excited for this. This does cut into a video package of the main event from Extreme Rules, which was the mixed tagged Extreme Rules winner takes all championship match, which cuts to Sarah backstage with Seth Rollins. She's having a chat. She's like, look, you must be super emotional right now after everything that happened last night. And she's like, how will you remain focused on this 10-man battle royale? And he's like, look, I have to. I have no choice. He's like, he does say, he's like, I'm hurting, but that's beside the point. I've got to focus on this match tonight. He's like, I do want to say that Becky is a strong woman. She is okay. But Baron Corbin learned what happens when you push Seth Rollins too far.
Yeah, kendoed and chaired and shit.
Kendoed and chaired and just viciously stomps. This brings us to the women's fatal four-way for the number one contendership for the Raw Women's Championship belt. Alexa Bliss with Nikki Cross comes out first, and they have Alexa Bliss versus Carmella versus Naomi versus Natalya. And as they're getting ready to fight, whoa! Becky Lynch comes hobbling out. She is limping up a storm.
Yeah, she got jacked pretty hard.
She got jacked pretty hard, but she's there to obviously watch firsthand to see who's going to be the number one contender for her title. Natty and Naomi sort of end up, getting first. They get all up in each other's shit, and they're doing a big old doers because it starts with, people just start beating the shit out of each other, and then, Carmella and Alexa end up out of the ring, and Natty and Naomi are face to face. And even as friends, they understand that this is, the be all and end all. So they get really brutal. Brutal. It's brutal. It's brutally beautiful. It was brutal. That was totally intended.
Yeah, well done. Making new words. Good words.
You're welcome. So as these two just take out each other, Carmella just pops back out of nowhere and she just tries about 4 times just back and forth between the two of them trying to pin them, just screaming between every pin. It was super funny. I thought it was really good. Carmella for me has that element of truth to her now. That just cheesy, stupid, funny, and it just makes me like her so much more.
Look, let me just say, when I met her for that 0.45 of a second that one time, I got none of that. So I barely, don't even think I breathed in that time that I saw her. So I have no comparison.
Yeah. No, I thought it was really good. I believe it is an elimination match.
Yes, yes.
Yeah, it is an elimination match because Alexa just pops into the ring out of nowhere and gets a roll up on Carmella, eliminating her. And then there's some really good doozing between Naomi and Natalya. It was super good to see those two have so much camera time. Obviously, Alexa and Carmella have seen the screen a lot. These two haven't. So they did get a lot of fight time, a lot of camera time. It was beautiful. They did have a match a little while back at a pay-per-view or something like that. And
the last time we would have seen them in a pay-per-view would have been Money in the Bank.
Yeah, I think something like that. Or they had a one match at some point. They were saying, but I didn't notice down. But Naomi yells, "Remember this," and then she gets this vicious blockbuster off the stairs onto Naomi on the floor. Absolutely gorgeous hit. Becky sitting off to the side in her little chair is just super animated, cheering people on, mocking people. It was just that added touch to see this match going on, and then Becky in the corner with the red hair, just acting up, and it was really funny. So I'm pretty sure at some point, because the match went for a while with Alexa just sort of sliding in and out, trying to take advantage of things.
Yeah, she kept trying to take advantage of dirty pins. So as an example, Naomi's trying to pin Natalya, Alexa would come in and try.
For example, there was that what they call the surfboard submission that Natty had Naomi in, and obviously referees checking Naomi's shoulders, and Alexa slid in and laid over Natty for the pin, which she had to obviously break the submission hold and kick out of. Little things like that. Exactly it. I'm pretty sure at some point the crowd started chanting, "This is awful."
This is awful, yes.
It definitely sounded like this is awful. They were not at all into this. I was kind of about it. I think, like I said, more Natty and more Naomi was super nice to see.
See, it's not entirely the women that I'd want to see, but then again, the women's roster of Raw is pretty low as it is.
Yeah.
So these are probably the best of the lot.
As soon as Natalya came out and I realized it was number one contendership for SummerSlam, immediately I was like, "Oh, SummerSlam's
in Toronto."
Yeah. I was like, SummerSlam's in Canada, Natty's going to win this. Like, it was kind of easy to predict, unfortunately. Natty does end up pinning Naomi, which brings the match down to Alexa versus Natalya. And as it's going on, Nikki Cross gets the microphone. And she's like, listen here, if you don't all start cheering for my best friend, Alexa, and they start booing even louder, and she doesn't even finish her sentence. She's like, shut up, shut up, shut up. And Corey Graves is like, how are they going to cheer for Alexa if you're telling them to shut up? And I'm like, you tell her, Corey Graves. It was so good.
Side note, we should also notice all the little sneaky glances Corey was making at Carmella. Because they're officially dating now.
Are they? I didn't realize he had split. That's why there was never any
backlash, because apparently like he already split with his wife at the time. So all this controversy, and it's like, no, I already split with my wife.
Interesting. I thought, yeah. Well, that's nice to know that those two are.
Yeah.
It's not as bad as it seemed. Interesting.
Considering Carmella is a SmackDown superstar, this says a lot about the women's division. That does indeed.
It does, yeah. So yeah, eventually.
Actually, I want to find out who was in the women's division. Keep going.
Yeah. So there is a little like buzz ringside between Natty and Alexa. Alexa ducks out of the way as she does, and Natty gets this vicious clothesline on Nikki Cross, which she ends up getting Alexa back in the ring. And she gets a vicious, she gets a really good sharpshooter on Alexa Bliss, who does tap out. So Natty does win, making her the number one contender for the WWE Women's Championship for Raw. Charlie jumps in the ring, and she's like, oh, look, you know, what do you have to say, Natty? Like, this is super exciting. Natty's like, first of all, Lexi sucks, which everybody after Nikki said what she said started chanting, you suck, to Alexa Bliss. And then she's like, oh, you know, I'm so lucky to go home and fight for this championship in my home country against my friend, Becky Lynch. And Becky's like, yep, grabs a microphone, and she's like, look, I've got something to say, as your friend, I've got something to say. Correction, as the man, I've got something to say. She's like, first of all, congratulations. I know I'm hurting, but I'm always ready to fight. And I always fight because I enjoy it. But it's time to drop the smiles and tell you that I like you. But if you think you're meeting your friend in the ring in Canada, you're going to be in for a shock.
All right, let's have a quick look here at the women's roster of Raw right now.
Do it.
Just for some funsies. So we're looking at the likes of Alexa Bliss, who was in the match. Alicia Fox, who was not.
Yep.
Becky Lynch, who's current champion.
Yep.
Apparently Brie Bella is still on the list.
Interesting.
Even though I'm pretty sure both her and
Nikki are retired.
Dana Brooke, who wasn't in the match.
Nope.
Fandango. I thought Fandango was on NXT now. That's cool. Lacey Evans, who we've just seen. Naomi, Natalya, Nia Jax, who's off injured.
Nikki Bella,
Nikki Cross, who was involved. Ruby Riott, who we haven't seen in a very long time.
Ronda's still listed.
Ronda's still there.
Renee Young's listed, even though she's
Sarah Logan, Sasha Banks, we haven't seen in forever. Tamina, who we haven't seen in a while.
Yeah.
No, I understand. Like in terms of the roster on Raw, they have picked the best of the best.
Definitely.
There's really no one sort of left that would be involved. Like aside from like Sarah Logan or Ruby Riott, who I would love to see in the title scene. Like they were given shots at Ronda earlier in the year, but they were all matches where Ronda was just probably going to stomp them anyway.
Yeah.
And she did exactly that. So I personally would like to see them get more involved. But
definitely, we did see Sarah Logan last week, and she was amazing.
Yeah, why have I not seen Ruby?
Yeah, that's very interesting.
Very weird. Why have I not seen Ruby Riott?
But yeah, as Becky is, she's like, it's time to drop the smiles, tell you that I like you, but if you think you're meeting your friend in the ring, you're in for a shock, because I'll wipe the floor with you in your own home country, so you better step up. She's like, Becky's like, your career needs something, and I'm it. I've learned that I'm much better in war than I am in love. And Natty's like, well, you mustn't be a very good lover then, bitch. Beautiful. Killer does say Nikki Bella has officially retired due to head trauma.
Yeah, her neck's all jacked. So she
did a John Cena.
she jacked her neck and hasn't been able to compete in a while.
Yeah.
That's
not a John Cena. Kurt Angle jacked her neck. Yeah. And Ruby Riott is injured at the moment.
Oh, is she really?
Apparently so.
Bummer.
But yeah, Natty drops the bitch line, and then she's like, if you want war, you've got it. Beautiful. I'm excited to see this match. I'm excited to see more of Natty. Natty's not going to win.
No.
Natty's not going to win. There's no way Becky's dropping to Natty, but I am excited to see this match because I think Natty is a good competitor for Becky.
With the women that were the option here, yeah.
Yeah. I've always had a thing for Natty. I think.
See, Carmella. Saying that though, I would like to see Carmella have another shot. So prior to this whole Charlotte Becky run, Carmella was the SmackDown Women's Champion, so she had a pretty solid run too. So part of me would like to see Carmella in that picture again. I think she should do more than just 24/7 stuff. Yeah. I think she's bigger than that. But also, I think Truth's bigger than that too. But they do it so well. It's kind of thing. So well. Naomi's also been a champ in the past as well. She had like this weird custom belt that had like LED strips on it and shit. Feel like glow, and Alexa we've seen as champion many times, and I didn't expect her to get the win out of this. But I would like to see Carmella, but I think Natalya probably kind of needs it more than anyone else. Yeah.
Becky did say your career needs something, and I'm it.
It's spot on.
So after this, we do get a little video of Randy Orton. He's having a talk about winning this 10-man Battle Royale. He's like, I have unfinished business with Brock Lesnar that I need to settle. So
I want to see that match.
Randy Orton is just a vicious dude. Crowd loves him. The minute the video package started, you could just hear the entire arena just start roaring.
You hear the waves crashing in the ladies.
I was going to say, you could hear my waves crashing.
Yeah,
you can hear me roaring. So next we do get an episode of Miz TV. Dolph Ziggler has requested to be a guest, we find out. And the Miz is just sitting there, super nonchalant, microphone in hand, is just like, welcome to my show. Why'd you ask to be here?
What do you want?
And Dolph's like, I have my own problems over on SmackDown, but I just had to come over here and see for myself if the rumors about you are true. And Miz is like, rumors? What rumors? He's like, that you're truly a sellout, You used to fight for something. You used to fight to be something and go somewhere, and now you're just a sellout. You sit here cozy with the episodes of Miz TV, not aiming for anything. There's no fire under your ass. All you want is fame and fortune, just like your wife. And that's when Miz snaps.
See, saying that though, none of that is correct.
None of it's correct.
Literally none of that is correct.
All we've seen out of the Miz lately is fight.
Since Superstar Shakedown, it's just the Miz bussing on people.
Shake up.
What'd I say?
Shakedown.
Fuck. That's why I kind of shifted it to you. Because I got punched in the face by Tide. I'm like, I can't finish this.
It pretty much was a shakedown because it was really disappointing.
Yeah, and it's a real... so I really thought Dolph would be done. Like, after getting mushed by KO and then this non-existent push with Kofi, I'm like, go away.
Yeah.
And he seems to be hanging around. Like, I don't think this is what The Miz should be doing.
Nah. It starts calling The Miz a company yes man, just saying The Miz will agree to anything. Which not the case at all.
He's the opposite. He spent the longest time feuding with the company.
Yeah. And says friggin' Dolph Ziggler who's doing everything for the company.
Yeah, Dolph Ziggler who pulls
Dolph Ziggler is the yes man.
Dolph Ziggler who pulls out of an Australian press tour
to do Super Showdown.
To go do a Saudi show. You are the yes man. You
are the yes man. And he's like, you weren't even booked on the pay-per-view, and Miz is just like, I'd rather not be booked on the pay-per-view than lose in 17 seconds. And then this is the glorious part is like Dolph's like, I did lose in 17 seconds. It was a Goldberg moment and I have to wear that. And I was like, oh, savage. But then, he does say something about Miz's wife, which Miz just beats the living shit out of him. And then that's the end of that.
But saying that they're also starting to run out of Miz's family to make fun of for bussing. Like with dad and his mom and
now his wife.
Like, is his second cousin. We have to go pick on like, well, not like your second cousin. Like, oh.
The Rock.
Yeah, because everyone's
related to The Rock. So this does give us a video of the hotel room. Drake Maverick is putting he's in a little gown. He's putting rose petals on the bed. There's a big bouquet of flowers. He tries to pick it up and gets pricked by the thorns. He's like, oh, pointy.
What is he like?
Oh, pointy. And then he's like, throwing more flowers. He's like, honey, are you ready? And she's like, yep, I'm just going to slip into something more comfortable. You should do the same. And then he's like, oh, I will. And he pulls off his robe. And the only thing he's wearing is tidy whities and the 24/7 belt. And I was like, oh, this guy, this is great. And he's like, come on, honey, get into bed and stuff like that. And she's like, oh, I am. And she's like climbing in and they hear a knock at the door. And she's like, oh, room service. I almost forgot about the champagne. He's like, no, I'm ready to go now. Like, come on. And he's like clearly trying to keep it up.
It was very weird because my wife was watching me and she's like, is he implying that like he's going to finish now or that he's trying to keep his bone? I'm like, I'm pretty sure keeping the bone. Nate jumps in the chat. He goes, hey guys, sorry I wasn't able to watch this live. I'm driving to Falls Creek tomorrow evening, and if it's available, I'll watch it on the way up.
Too easy. Yeah, so I did forget to mention that as he's ripping off his robe, he's like, oh, daddy's ready. And I was like, ew. Drake Maverick saying daddy is not okay. The only person that can be called Daddy is Randaddy.
Yeah. Oh, no, there was someone else.
That's how daddy is.
Who else was there?
I've called Elias daddy a few times.
Yeah, I think you have. Yeah.
But yeah, that was super creepy, Maverick saying daddy. But yeah, she brings in the champagne. He's like, hurry up. And she's like, I'm coming.
Hey.
She wasn't. And the room service attendant just stands there, and Drake Maverick is like, you can go now, don't stay here. According to Killer AI, Samoa Joe is also daddy.
Have you called Samoa Joe daddy?
Samoa Joe's daddy because he was going to be AJ's wife's
new
daddy.
That's right.
Wendy's new daddy.
That was a fun run last year. That was good.
Anyway, yeah, the room service attendant doesn't leave, and Drake gets up and he's like, you can go. And he's like, wait, you look familiar. And the room service attendant rips off his clothes to reveal a referee, and Truth's like, Renee, somebody's here. Oh my God. And he's like pulling up sheets and lifting mattresses, and it's just like, what? And Truth just starts slowly climbing out.
His little face comes out from under the thing.
Head straight in Drake Maverick's ass as he's bending over the bed. Tries to get a little roll up on him, which doesn't get. It is a 2 count. Drake's like, two, and then they jump on the bed, and Truth gets the pin on the bed and rip the belts off in and goes running. He's like, I got my baby back. He's like, I really hope you guys don't have constipation. Which I lost myself, and Renee's squealing, and then he runs off, and she's like, ah, and Drake's like, no, and goes chasing after him. It was just beautiful, absolutely beautiful. And then it does cut to the announce table, obviously when the announcers are standing all facing forward at the camera, and they're talking about how embarrassing this is for Drake Maverick on his consummation night, and Corey just drops a beautiful one-liner. He's just like, if it was me, I would have utilized a small package. It'll just start. Renee's like, and Michael Cole's just like,
yeah, that feels a little bit off script at the moment. It's good.
It was so good that it was off script. We did forget to mention that during the first match of the night at Extreme Rules, Shane is about to get like buckle bombs, and Renee's like, Shane's fucked.
I think you're supposed to say Shane's rocked, but
she said fucked.
The weird blur on the R was like, Shane's fucked. I'm like, yes.
It came off as an F, and it was the first thing I noticed as soon as that buckle bomb hit, and I was like, she swore. Beautiful. Anyway, we do get a video package of Roman Reigns' week, obviously at the ESPYs and all that other stuff, and then a little video of him like warming up backstage, and then we get where are they? New Jersey, I think so. Oh, Long Island. Don't you dare be sour and clap for your 6th time.
Your world famous six-time champs and your WWE Heavyweight Champion.
No, it was just the champs because it was only Big E in the match.
No, I'm pretty sure they did it anyway. Pretty sure it's part of the spiel now. So
I'm pretty sure it was just both shows. You know I'm pretty sure it was just the tag team champions.
You admit defeat. I don't care.
I'm pretty sure. But yeah, I was like, you're 6. And I'm pretty sure everybody in the crowd did it too because you're not used to it yet. It's only been a night. So this brings us into the 10-man cross-brand all-star battle over-the-top rope battle royale.
Thanks for quick clarification there.
Yes, over-the-top rope battle royale, which really good start. Obviously a big old clusterfuck of superstars. Cesaro just starts cleaning house with uppercuts on everybody. That dude is vicious, especially after his match the night before with Aleister Black. I was surprised to see him on such a good roll because they went at it, those two. Lashley does come out bandaged up to the shit house. Obviously he copped it bad the night before as well. So Cesaro does end up getting the first elimination by throwing Bobby Lashley over the top rope. Obviously Lashley's a hurt man. Wasn't expecting much out of him, to be honest. I didn't want to see him hurt himself anymore.
Agreed, yeah.
I do I feel for superstars who are injured, so having him in the match, good on him for being there.
Well,
but
saying that to his credit, like if I got that Rock the night before, there's no way I'm getting like, they're like, hey, you want to compete in a battle royal? I'm like, no.
Yeah. So props to Bobby Lashley for being there. So Cesaro is the first person eliminated, by Bobby Lashley, who then gets eliminated by Braun Strowman. Throughout the match, there is New Day Rock chants because there is this gorgeous spot, Big E versus Braun Strowman. Mm-hmm. Big E lifted Braun Strowman up and like power slammed him. Like, it was beautiful. I love just seeing how strong Big E is. Even though Braun's taller than him, he's just a strong, strong man. And they do make a fact of saying that obviously Braun Strowman is a strong man, Big E's done strong man as well. So they do a bit of one-on-one duels, and then out of nowhere, RKO to Big E. And Sammy ends up capitalizing on that and throws Big E out, eliminating him. And while he's celebrating, he turns around and gets rocked by a massive RKO again, falls onto the rope. Rey Mysterio's like, well, damn, and just 619s him. And then Randy ends up grabbing Sammy and throwing him out, so he eliminates Sami Zayn. And then there's a beautiful RKO Randy again, an RKO on Roman Reigns, which sets up for the 619 again, which Ray hits. And then Baron Corbin ends up grabbing Rey Mysterio and eliminating him. Randy does get thrown out of the ring at some stage, but does go through the middle of the rope. Mm-hmm. So he isn't eliminated at this point. Where are we? So it ends up being, because Randy is outside the ring, it ends up being Baron Corbin against Braun Strowman, Seth Rollins, and Roman Reigns. So obviously Seth is all eyes blazing, like, so staring. The
key for all the other associated randos being eliminated at this point.
Yeah, exactly.
Leaving just the people you would expect to be in the title.
Exactly it. So Seth Rollins is staring a hole through Baron Corbin's soul. Roman Reigns just sort of turns around and gives him a look, and then Braun Strowman starts staring him down, and Corbin's in the corner like, oh shit, I'm done for. And Braun makes the first hit. With a beautiful uppercut thing, which he rolls onto the apron. Roman Reigns gets out and does a vicious drive-by, and then Seth Rollins gets a beautiful I'm pretty sure Seth Rollins ends up stomping him and then eliminating him. And then Braun and Roman are going at it. Roman sets up for the spear. Braun moves out of the way and he collects Seth Rollins. And in the shock of it, Braun uses that to capitalize and tries to get Roman out of the ring. So they're tied up in the ropes together. Seth sees his opportunity, pushes them both out. So Seth just does a double elimination of Braun Strowman and Roman Reigns, which leads this to Randy versus Seth. The crowd was competing with the Randy and Seth chants. Absolutely beautiful. Crowd loves Randy. I love Randy. You love Randy. We love Randy.
We all love Randy.
We love Randaddy. So I was really gunning for Randy Orton for this. I would have been really excited to see it because we have seen Seth versus Brock before. But unfortunately, that's not the way it goes.
So it does end with Seth Rollins being the winner.
He does get a stomp on Randy Orton and throws him out. Paul Heyman decides that's not how you should be announced, and he decides to re-announce the winner, the man facing Brock Lesnar, and the man who will lose at SummerSlam. And Seth's like, would you shut up for once in your life? He's like, I promised you that SummerSlam's going to look a lot like WrestleMania, where I'm stomping your head into the ground. Yeah. And the crowd's just like, okay.
So this as we're discussing the Extreme Rules wrap up, this is probably the better outcome of the lot.
Yeah.
Because we'll get to sort of Randy and the SmackDown chats.
Yeah.
But everyone on that, it makes sense. Roman it'd be silly to put Roman in that picture right now.
Yeah.
Saying on top of that, we have seen Roman versus Brock in a big old punch down before.
Yeah.
With Seth, we are at a point where the last time we did see this feud, it did end with
it was very lackluster.
a dirty end.
Win, yeah.
So it wasn't a real proper fight.
Yeah.
So I think this would be about set up some potential for a proper fight.
Yeah.
And if Seth does come out, then it's one of those situations of no, you deserve to have the belt.
Yeah.
Because you took him
cleanly. Yeah. So this does sort of carry into Seth's about to say something and his music hits and it's drowned out and Brock Lesnar's just standing there, and then you see Seth yelling into a turned off mic, which they eventually turn back on. He's like, come on, fight me, bring it, I'm not scared. And Brock has a chair for he'd come out to watch the match. So they were at the top of the ramp. He's sitting on a chair. So he grabs a steel chair and runs down to the ring. And Seth is like ready to go. And he just bashes the apron as like a taunt. And Seth's like, come on, you coward. And then Brock Lesnar just walks away. And that is the end of Raw.
So what do you think?
I was stoked with Raw. I think it turned out really good. There was some cool matches with that Fatal 4-Way and the 10-man tag match, the spots with Drake Maverick and stuff. I really enjoyed it. I think it was a solid way to transition out of Extreme Rules. I would give it a curtain a bar.
Oh, very nice.
Yeah, I rate it definitely higher than
I enjoyed myself. I wasn't super engaged. Saying that it was awesome to see the Fiend. Some of those matches were on fire as well. I like that there's no... In terms of them said, no one just got thrown into this title picture here. There was no Dolph Ziggler rocking up going, I'm going to be here.
It was supposed to be me.
Yeah, you was like what they've done here is they're like, cool, these are people that we think should have a go. I mean, let's have a big old match. Beautiful. Seth Rollins, well, you still earned your way out. Beautiful. All right, who's gone over here? Natalia, you're one, give it a go. Fuck yeah, you earned it. Let's make this party happen.
Yeah, definitely really good.
And that's so much better than just someone rocking up going, my turn. Yeah. You know, this like they have to work and earn their spot here. And I think that's great. And I think if we see more stuff like this moving forward, it will add a little bit more legitimacy to the title contenders and the titles themselves too.
Yeah, definitely. Let us know what you thought.
Yeah, let us know what you thought this week. Oh, I'm right down the middle.
Right down the middle with a cat.
Let us know what you thought this episode of Monday Night RAW. There's comments below, Discord, other places, links in the description below. Fun times. This brings up to SmackDown.
SmackDown, I believe, was in Worcester, Massachusetts.
Yeah, sure, we'll go with that.
I think that's what it's called. So it does...
Because I'm very tired, I'll let you run this show once again, and I'll just bounce off you because you're fun.
Yeah. So it does open with a video package, as SmackDown always does.
As always, do just ball the package.
Yep. And Shane with a bunch of security as they're clearly waiting. He's on the phone. He says something about Kevin Owens, who does end up waltzing in. And he's like, look, you know, it was a bit shitty of you to air your grievances the way you did, but it's given me an idea. I'm going to open up a town hall tonight so superstars can, I guess, air their grievances so long as they're respectful. And he tells KO that he's not welcome in the building and to have the night off, go sit at home, enjoy yourself, relax. This happened earlier in the night. It does bring us to Shane in the ring. He is waiting. He's got the entire SmackDown roster on stage to open up this town hall. And he's like, you know, you can say whatever you want so long as it's respectful. And he's like, who wants to start off first? Anyone? Roman Reigns walks up and he goes, look, I don't give a damn. First of all, no one in this room respects you. Neither do I. So you can kiss my ass. And then just walks off. Shane was like, look, first of all, I said respectful, so there's a fine coming your way and I'll deal with you later. And then, yeah, nobody decides to step up. So for some reason, Shane just starts calling people out. He's like, Charlotte, you've always got something to say. What do you want to say? And she's
so this is the first time we've seen Charlotte Flair in a couple of months. Well, yeah. Kind of really since WrestleMania.
Yeah.
There was a little bit of a run after Mania.
Very briefly.
But, I think she took on Bayley at some point. Yeah.
Don't even remember because it's been a while.
Yeah.
But yeah, she's like, first of all, I'd like to say that was super disrespectful and uncalled for, and that's rude of Roman Reigns. But you know, the McMahon family has been nothing but gracious to me, and I'm super thankful for this opportunity. Liv Morgan steps up and she's like,
another one we haven't seen
in ages. Yeah. Yep. And she's just like, you're such a phony, Charlotte Flair. Like, I'm pretty sure nothing on you is real. Like, I'm sick of you being handed these opportunities and I want something. And Shane's like, whoa, cut it out. That's not what we're here for. And then he's like, all right, what about you, Buddy Murphy? Buddy Murphy, our Aussie boy.
What was that? Hey, yeah.
Not Buddy Watson, Buddy Murphy.
Oh, if it was, I wish it was Buddy Watson.
And he's just like,
it's never Buddy Watson. It's a real shame.
He's like, yeah, nah, look, like, I don't need Kevin.
Nah.
I don't need Kevin Owens, you know, calling my name out. I'd rather he keeps my name out of his mouth, and I'll slap my name out of his mouth if I have to. And Shane's like, I like that idea. I think we're going to have to talk. I think we can do something with that. Which I was like, yes, Buddy Murphy. I was super excited by that. Then Shane calls out Apollo Crews, and he's like, look, I agree with Kevin Owens. I agree with the universe. I don't like you. And Zelina Vega interjects and she's like, that's disrespectful. She's like, I don't appreciate that you're just sucking up to the WWE universe. You know, why don't you step up and like prove that you're as good as you say you are and verse Andrade tonight. Andrade says something in Spanish. And then
El Banco.
Yeah, something about being in the bank.
He said nothing about El Banco.
He said nothing about being money in the bank.
Anything that I vaguely
remember. So yeah, they set the challenge to him, and then Elias strums his guitar and just interjects in this thing. So they all take a step back, and he tries to say something, and the New Day interject and they're like, yo, Elias, you're a jackass. Like. And which was beautiful. They bleeped it, but we were around it and watched what they said.
Who the fuck bleeps Jackass?
I know, right?
Remember there was a TV series called Jackass once? Like,
yeah.
Why does this need to be cast? But that's
yeah, exactly. But it was a good way to just cut Elias off because that's what we do. Kofi's like, look, I don't like Kevin Owens, but I have to agree with what he says. You know, he makes some good points. And as Kofi's trying to talk this out, Shane just cuts off his mic and he's like, whoa, I'm so sorry, champ. We must have technical difficulties. Like, I'll talk to the desk about getting that sorted for you. So sorry to cut you off. But this concludes the town hall. Like, this is it. Thanks, everybody. Goodbye. As everybody's walking out, clearly pissed off about this.
Like every meeting, it never goes the way you want.
Cesaro just shows up and he's like, Shane, I've got something to say. And Shane's like, but you're from Raw, Cesaro. And he's like, yeah, I'm here on the Waka.
Did he say Waka?
He said Waka.
Waka.
He's like, I'm here on the Waka. And he wants Aleister Black to pick a fight with him. Aye. To which Shane agrees. And as Shane's agreeing to this, Kevin Owen comes in a staff t-shirt, drops a stunner, which doesn't go well the first time, but he manages.
There's got to be some symbology here of the crew wanting to deck. Right? There's only so much subtlety.
The twice he's shown up in a crew shirt to
like he doesn't look like crew, so there's got to be some extra symbology.
There's got to be something. Somebody's sneaking him in. But yeah, gets a very haphazard stunner on Shane McMahon and then obviously does a runner because somebody's going to be after him. So this does bring us into what Shane had agreed to, Aleister Black versus Cesaro, the rematch. Again, I was stoked to see Aleister Black.
Yeah, it's weird because we were told there'd be no rematch clause. You know, I think that rematch clause comes down to championships.
Yeah,
which is fine.
Yeah, you don't get an automatic shot at the championship again. So yeah, pretty much a repeat of Extreme Rules. Unfortunately, like the good contenders, they were fun to watch, but I was a bit like, oh, I watched this earlier. But yeah, to win the match, Aleister Black gets a vicious black mask. Like he kicks the mouth guard out of Cesaro's mouth.
He does.
That's how brutal it was. For the win, which obviously still leaves him undefeated. This cuts backstage to Shane. Dolph Ziggler walks up and he's like, look, it's disgusting what Kevin Owens is doing again. He deserves to be taught a lesson. I've got to prove myself. I think, you know, it should be me to teach him in this lesson. You know, Shane's like, but he's not here. And he's like, I'll get him here. I'll make this match happen. Shane's like, if you can get him here, you can have the match. And we're left at that. This does cut to Charlotte Flair walking to the ring from backstage. It is announced that she will be facing Liv Morgan up next. We do see throughout the night, obviously they're talking about Daniel Bryan having a huge announcement to make. This does show us a video of Daniel Bryan backstage, clearly a broken man. After Extreme Rules, backstage, clearly a broken man. He's almost in tears. He's like, I dreamed of elevating the tag team division and I failed. And he's like, if I want to change or save this planet, I need to aim higher. I need to go somewhere I've never gone before, and I know exactly what I need to do. This leads us into Charlotte Flair versus Liv Morgan, which I was excited about. We haven't seen either of these two for a while, so I was excited to see them in competition. At the start of the match, like Liv Morgan does get a little bit of an upper hand, but Charlotte just overpowers her. Yeah, calls her basic.
Yeah, Charlotte is simply the better competitor here.
Yeah,
that was a big given when having this up. So, looking at the card looking at the pitch of the graphic of this, like, yeah, you're going to win, Charlotte. You're going to win hard.
Yeah,
like,
exactly.
Liv is great, but Liv's strengths worked really. Her strengths as a competitor worked within the squad.
Yeah.
So without the likes of Sarah Logan, without the likes of Ruby, Liv is subpar.
Yeah, and Charlotte does say that she is like, you're subpar, you need to go away and come back better. This is all said on stage while they're airing their grievances. Charlotte eventually gets the figure 8, which Liv immediately taps to. Charlotte walks off, obviously celebrating. Liv sitting on the edge of the ring, actually crying. And Corey Graves is like, all power to Liv for coming here and, putting herself out there like this and taking that opportunity and stuff like that. And as he's talking her up, she walks over and yanks the headset off him viciously. And he's just like, the fuck? And she grabs the microphone and she's like, Charlotte was right. And when I come back, I'm going to be real. Don't know what any of that means, but okay, because you literally just went away and came back. Like,
where have you been now?
Yeah, exactly.
And
you should be real right now.
If she talks about how Charlotte's super fake, and she's now only going to come back and be real, what are you doing? Yeah, exactly. It very, very confusing. Or is it the Liv Morgan finally realizing that she's a 28-year-old juvenile delinquent? The gimmick doesn't work when you're nearly 30. Yeah, exactly it. Maybe she's going to change a gimmick. We do see this does cut backstage again, out at the trucks that they have. Dolph Ziggler is outside talking to a referee trying to get an Uber for Kevin Owens. He's like, yeah, what's the Uber number? And then we see Ember Moon sort of pacing backstage towards the ring. We do know that last week Ember Moon was challenged by Sonya Deville and Mandy to find a tag team partner to take them on if she can find one. So Sonya Deville and Mandy do make their way to the ring. Ember Moon follows and she stands there for a second. I was like, oops, she's picked a tag team partner. Who is it? It's Bayley. Good surprise.
Yeah, really good surprise. These two are super excited. They're high-fiving and stuff. And then Bayley gets ready to do her entrance thing and she's facing Ember Moon and they both do and then the wacky waving inflatable armbands came up and I was like, oh, that's super cute. They did that together. Aww. So I was like, they're going to win. Clearly. Which they do. As soon as the bell starts, Sonya and Mandy just take the doors on, which the match hadn't even started at this point. Then the match does officially start. No, it had. Anyway, yeah, right on the bell. Sorry. So, yeah, they start. Ember Moon and Bayley end up getting the upper hand. Ember Moon gets to the top rope. Mandy's in the middle of the ring. Sonya tries to intervene. Bayley gets a beautiful Bayley to belly to knock her out of the way. And a gorgeous Eclipse, which is a beautiful move.
I love the Eclipse.
On Mandy Rose for the win to Ember Moon and Bayley. Kayla jumps in the ring. She obviously interviews Bayley. She's just like, hey, congratulations on last night. Who are you? Who's next? And Bayley's like, I'm looking for somebody who's an amazing competitor, who's deserved this, who'll be a fighting champion should I fall, someone who I haven't faced yet. And the crowd just starts screaming Ember Moon chants. And Bayley just sort of smiles and she looks at Ember Moon. And Kayla's just like, well, what do you say, Ember? And she's like, hell yes. And they get all celebratory and Ember's losing her shit. And then she gets a bit face-to-facey with Bayley. And they look really hyped for this match. And you know what? I'm really hyped for this match.
Me too. I've been wanting Ember in the title picture for a while. Yeah. So I was quite excited to have this to come down as the answer.
So yeah, it'll be Ember Moon versus Bayley at SummerSlam for the SmackDown Women's Championship. After this, we do have an interview with Shinsuke. I was kind of zoned out. We were eating dinner. He was present. He was present. He said something in very broken English. And not then racist. Not racist. He just like the Kabuki Warriors who need an advocate. I think Shinsuke does as well. Somebody who can speak for him because obviously it's, not his strongest suit.
No.
But as he turns around, he comes face to face with Ali, which I'm interested to see.
Yeah. I would like to... I'm glad that Ali is back in the championship picture in some way. Yes. I do certainly think he was meant to get the push that Kofi received. It was just a bad set of circumstances that got him away from that. So I think at least now, even though it's mid-card will give him an opportunity to move into the larger picture.
Yes. Yeah, back to where he was supposed to be. It's a good way to work his way back up. After this, we do get the... Oh, Worcester! Don't you dare be sour. And then again, clap for your world famous six time. I was at fit. No, again. And your WWE, still your WWE champion. So all three of them come out. They talk about we don't mean to spoil your moment, Brian, but we know what your announcement is. And yes, we do take your rematch challenge. We accept. Rowan and Daniel and Daniel Bryan do come out. Daniel Bryan, still looking like a very broken man, goes to say something.
He seems frazzled is probably the best word. Like, he seems absolutely frazzled.
Yeah. He's not sure what's going on. So he walks out and then he disappears. And then he comes back and then he disappears. Yeah. And then he comes back a third time and he drops the mic and then he storms out.
Yeah.
And then Samoa Joe comes busting out. And Joe's like, clearly Daniel Bryan's not in the mood for a championship opportunity, but I do not suffer the same affliction. You guys are throwing championship matches around like it's Christmas in July. I'm here to accept. As he's saying this, Joe challenges Kofi. He's like, Kofi, why don't you do what your boy's doing and put your title on the line right now? And Elias is like, and he comes out and he's like, I deserve a title shot as well, so why don't you give it to me? It's his turn anyway, he claims. Then Randy Orton comes out and he's just like, I'm long overdue for a title shot. I'm pretty sure it's a matter now. And Elias is like, we can't all have a title shot right now, but how about the three of us take on the three of them? And this is what I love was the New Day are like, are you suggesting a 6-man tag team match, player? Are you suggesting you take on us, player? And Kofi's like, we accept, player. So dumb, but it was so good. Randy just out of nowhere is like, nah, I'm good. And starts to walk away. And they're like, oh, I thought the Viper was always like set up and ready to strike. But it looks like he's gone a little bit limp tonight. Kofi says that. And Xavier Woods is just like, oh, I'm sure this hasn't happened before. It's the first time, right, Randy? And Randy's just like, bam, storms down the ring.
He's like, fuck this noise, and he's back in.
The match is made official, and we do get the 6-man tag match of Samoa Joe, Elias, and Randy Orton versus The New Day.
A surprisingly good setup. Yeah. Because for a team that was thrown just 3 random dudes. It was good. It
was a good random
match.
I think
the big difference is because we have at least a minor investment.
Oh, that's what it was. I knew what it was. Sorry, Killer just mentioned Theodore Long references. So Teddy Long for a very long time was the SmackDown general manager. Yeah. I forgot that he called everyone player. Yeah. So I was like, what you want, player? So yeah, beautiful Teddy Long references. Thank you for mentioning that, Killer. I knew it come from somewhere.
Yeah. So I think we're a bit like biased in that because like we love Joe, we love Randy.
Yes.
You're a big fan of Elias.
Yeah, I'm a big fan of the New Day. So yeah, it was a really good.
So like even though they're
exciting match.
So even like most for anyone else be like, this is a weird team. We're like, this team is brilliant.
Yeah, it's the most exciting potluck ever.
Yeah.
But yeah, all I remember from the match, it was good, but all I really remember from was Big E licking his hand and spanking Elias to the New Day rocks, because it was super hot. Sorry, it was just really sexy. I'd spank Elias. Just saying. But yeah, eventually, there is a vicious RKO to Kofi Kingston from Randy Orton for the pin, for the win. This exchange makes me think that Kofi and Randy will have a fight.
Yeah, this is a good setup. So if you think about it, like if Kofi can win over the Viper, brilliant. Absolutely brilliant. But if for any reason that he can't, and Randy Orton is the one that does take the title from Kofi, I think it's a good scenario. For the average person will be like, no, that's fine.
Yeah.
Because it's Randy.
Yeah.
Like we understand the viciousness of Randy.
Yeah.
His ability to just fuck people up.
He is the Viper.
I think for that reason, people are probably more open to the idea of Kofi losing to Randy.
Orton.
It seems like a good option, and I think
even as a bad guy, the crowd want him.
Yeah.
They want Daddy.
Yeah. I think that. Yeah. So. Whatever the outcome, people should be pleased here.
They'll be happy either way. I think it's a really good exchange there. This does lead to the Kabuki Warriors and Paige walking to the ring from backstage. It is announced that they will finally be having that championship title match that they earned in Kyoto, Japan, against the Iconics. The Iconics. Gotta be joking me tonight. This does cut to Carmella looking for Truth. Truth's like, Mella, and she can hear him. She's like, where are you? And there's just a random washing machine there. And Truth pops out and is like, I'm hiding, but I'm stuck. So Mella has to like get him out of this. And she's like, look, we need to hide you in plain sight. You just have to wear a costume. And Truth is like, but like what? And she's like, no, come on. Like, we're gonna go to Comic-Con. And Truth's like, don't call me a con. I did my time. Like I did all this, which is funny because it's topical because he was formerly a criminal. He turned his life around. Good on you, R-Truth. As she's trying to like get it, like Truth is like trying to get out of this washing machine, falls over, and he's just like, help, Truth down. So good. But Kamala ends up dragging him off because they are going to be at Comic-Con, so that's super nice. This does bring us to the ring where the Iconics are going one-on-one with the Kabuki Warriors. The Iconics get their asses handed to them. Like the
fast too.
Fast, yeah, very fast. But they do not lose their titles.
So what happened here during this whole scuffle? There was a moment where Billy Kay gets taken out and sent to the side of the ring, not the apron, what's it
outside
called?
area.
The outside area, the mat.
The mats.
And as the time counter kicked in, they're getting closer. They get the Ursula back in, so they get up on. So she gets back on the apron. Realizes about 7, like, oh, hang on, we can still retain if we drop out of this. Yep. So then
championship.
So then Peyton comes in, grabs her at the leg, yanks her back down. 8, 9, 10. Technically, the win goes to Kabuki Warriors.
Yeah, technically the win does go to Kabuki Warriors, but they champions advantage. They do not lose the titles on a count out. It can only be pinfall or submission.
That's correct. Saying that though, next time they do take on each other, champions advantage is not possible.
Yes,
you only get one shot. So
exactly.
Whether it be SummerSlam or whether it be a pay per view between now and then.
Yeah. Which they do
whether it be a TV show since between now and then, the Iconics will lose the belt very soon.
Yes, which I'm ready for.
Because they've
done great. They've done it so dirty for so long.
100 days as champs.
I love that. But they've done good. I love it. I think, being dirty champions has really benefited them.
Chicken shit heels, yeah.
I love it. I absolutely love that. I'm interested to see how them actually wrestle and lose the titles, but I think this was super smart on their behalf because you never see it. It was really good for them.
Yeah, like all there is, the commentators do always mention the champion's advantage, but it's very rarely taken into account.
Yeah, the advantage is
like sometimes they'll use the belt as a weapon, therefore giving them the
because you can't change the title on
win.
disqualification. But the count out was just beautiful. It's very iconic. It's very chicken shit champion. So this does bring us to our next match, which is Andrade with Zelina Vega taking on Apollo Crews. As Crews is coming out, the match hasn't even started, and Andrade puts the dust down on him. Andrade puts the dust down on him, as Andrade does. Referee does check on Apollo Crews. He's like, start the match. Starts the match. It was a quick match. Andrade is just dominating for the entire thing. I looked away for 2 seconds, looked back, and Apollo Crews was the winner.
Yeah.
What had happened was he had managed to just get a sneaky roll up, 1, 2, 3, and then he was gone. I believe Apollo Crews is now on NXT.
I've seen him. I heard there was heading to NXT or something like that. Yeah.
But it was, also, I think if that is the case, it's good to see him go out on the win because it makes him looking strong going into NXT. But it was just super quick, super sweet, super done. Then we do get the video replay of the Fiend the previous night on Raw taking out Finn Balor. And then this brings us to Dolph Ziggler versus Kevin Owens. So Dolph Ziggler does end up getting Kevin Owens back to the arena, who walks out to the ring watching his back the entire time. KO hits a beautiful suicide flip thingy over the top rope. Killer said, I think the NXT appearance for Apollo Crews was just a one-off.
Yeah, okay. No worries.
That's fair enough. Well, it's good to see him get a win anyway.
Correct.
Because they have had a little feud going on for a little while. KO gets, he tries to go for the stunner straight away. First, Dolph goes for a super kick, stops it, tries to go for a stunner. Dolph gets out of it. Dolph out of the ring, gets a beautiful suicide flippy thingy on him, gets back in the ring, and suddenly Shane walks out with the entire roster essentially. You got Buddy Murphy out there, B team, the AOP. Don't mind that was like the AOP.
Well, it's kind of an A and
yeah,
it's
that's
a lowercase A. It's an O and then there's a P with the A. I get where you're going.
Yep. A bunch of others. I think Cesaro was in there somewhere. Andrade was definitely there. But yeah, anyway, they surround a ring almost like a lumberjack match. KO was like, oh great, here we go. While KO is distracted by all of this going on, Dolph tries to get a zigzag, and KO ends up kicking out of it. Eventually, he does get the stunner on Dolph Ziggler. As he's about to get the pin, Shane pulls him out. He cracks the shits, gets a second stunner on Shane, and then just legs it out of the arena and gets chased by all the superstars around the ring.
Yep.
Drew McIntyre's the only one who stays around. He comes over to check on Shane, and Kayla, for some reason, jumps down. And she's like, Shane, like, this is the second stunner you've copped tonight. And Shane's just like, Kevin Owens is going to pay. Kevin's going to pay. He's going to pay. He's going to pay. Get out of my way. And shoves Kayla out of the way and walks off. And then that's the end of SmackDown.
Da-da-da.
Yeah, it was good. Apart from, like, as always, SmackDown is just riddled with videos packages. But for the most part, I really enjoyed it.
I agree.
I did enjoy it. I reckon I'd rate it the same as I rated Raw. So a curtain a bar. I thought it was a good, solid 1.5. There was some good bits there. I did like, the chicken shit iconics. I did like the KO bits. I think overall it was just really good.
Yeah, there's some good setup here. Like, there is some setup to sort of some Kevin Owens, Shane McMahon stuff. There's a setup to iconics and the Kabuki Walkers. So, like, it looks as if the iconics will, in fact, lose their title at some point, which I'm very cool with. I'm super excited for Randy and Kofi if that's going to happen.
I'm super excited for Bayley
Something
and Ember.
I want to see. Bayley and Ember is a big one.
Yeah.
So, overall, there was a lot of good potential here. There's a lot of good setup. Saying that, though, we haven't seen any Bischoff at this point. No. This is, the next one is where we'll sort of see his taste. But I imagine he's had some consultative placement with this episode as to at least get his ball rolling. Yeah. And then come next week, he'll have his, be wrist deep in it at this point.
Killer does say, I reckon we're going to get something next week on Raw Reunion, especially with Stone Cold. They have been pumping this week that next week is the Raw Reunion.
So they're bringing all the big fuck-off dudes.
I think it's like, because it's the 25 years of Raw or something.
No, 25 years was earlier last year. Okay. This is to celebrate that is one of the, I think maybe the
longest running
weekly show in history.
Yeah. So they're having a big, like, old school superstars. They're plugging, Stone Colds and all that sort of stuff, which will be super cool to see. I'm excited for it.
Pretty much all of NWO, pretty much all of DX.
Yeah. But no, I'm cool for it. I'm excited to see where it's going to take us.
And me. I'm in the same boat. I enjoyed it. I'll give it probably a curtain a bar as well.
Mm-hmm. Good time.
Like, although there wasn't a lot that really got my, because I was doing a lot of house stuff as this was all going down, so I didn't really sit down to watch it. But what it's probably the potential of what it sets up is more exciting to me than anything else. Yeah. So let us know what you thought of this episode of SmackDown. Those comments below, Discord, Facebook group, all the things are in the description below. But before we do wrap up the show today, we do dive into one section. We do have a friend of ours. His name is Dirt Sheet Dash. He gives us all the news you need to know about in the backstage sections of the wrestling world. Mm-hmm. So he comes in with the segment we call Dishing the Dirt with Dirt Sheet Dash.
Woo!
Dash comes through with the dirt sheet as always.
We're not worthy.
Comes in with 1, 2, 3, 4 bits of news.
Spoiled.
Number 1. There has been some talk about the Kevin Owens storyline leading to Shane being phased out of a weekly television character.
Thank God.
With Eric Bischoff coming in as executive director of SmackDown Live and it notably being made public to fans, this would be perfect time for Shane to take a step back off TV and resume his backstage duties.
Thank God.
And other ventures. While Shane is currently a minority stakeholder in WWE, he is still chairman of 7 Stars Cloud Group Incorporated, which he founded back in 2010, China's first broadband company. So I do certainly think there would be a change. Now, I don't think that Bischoff will be replacing Shane as that authority sort of setup, but I do think there needs to be a change. And I think Kevin Owens, because this does feel very reminiscent of Stone Cold v Vince.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, definitely.
So I think there may be some of that set up here.
Yeah.
But, obviously Vince never went away, but it might push Shane away a little bit. What do you think?
Get rid of him. I'm done.
Yeah.
So done.
He's had his time, and we forget that this has been going on for like fucking 9 months.
Yeah, it's been a long time. Definitely over it.
Next one. This just starts off with good luck reading this one, Betson. Coming off this week's Monday Night Raw, it appears that The Miz will be getting a renewed push. Here is what Dave Meltzer of Figure4WrestlingOnline.com noted about the situation. This is where it gets fun because I have to read this fucker's quote. He was supposed to be one of the main guys, like main baby faces on Raw, right near the top, and then they just keep using him to get other people over, and then all of a sudden he's not over at that level. So now that they're trying to, whatever it is, erase it or just get him going, and they need to do it by saying, okay, yeah, he wasn't serious enough, now we've got a new guy and now he's serious, so this is the step one on that. What the fuck did Dave Meltzer just say?
A whole bunch of gibberish. It's basically like Miz is not over and he needs to be over. It
genuinely baffles me is that Dave Meltzer is considered one of the most important people in wrestling information. And
he speaks more gibberish than Aleister Black.
He is completely incapable of delivering a full fucking sentence.
He's worse than Aleister Black.
Yeah. For someone that does, you know, a podcast or at least a radio show that charges the better part of like fucking $15 a month, you'd think that he would at least be able to deliver a proper coherent conversation, right?
My head hurts trying to work out what he said.
Yeah. Well, essentially, my understanding is there's been a situation when they keep bringing in The Miz, but The Miz is
he's getting people over.
He's getting over, but primarily focused on putting other stars over.
Yeah, he's not getting over enough. He's putting others over.
And there's no reason for him to get over on Dolph, to help get Dolph over because no one gives a fuck.
Yeah, so maybe Dolph is going to get him over.
Yeah, maybe. Third, Alexa Bliss addressed the, quote, awful chance that she was getting during her match on Monday's Raw and also retweeted a fan that expressed frustrations with the crowd. Alexa tweeted, quote, just disrespectful. We encourage reactions, cheering, and booing and chants. We don't encourage people to be rude.
That's fair. I think it definitely was rude. Like, you could have just booed. You didn't have to chant, this is awful.
Yeah.
Because I don't at all think it was awful. I think it was a good match. I think they were just being a bit shitty.
But I have a feeling there must have been some extra level comments that we may not have heard.
Possibly.
Mostly because in order to have Nikki get up and yell back, you would imply that there's something extra has been said. But without us knowing that, you know, because it's that weird line like... it's this weird situation. So in wrestling, it's very important to have a reaction, to get a reaction, whether it be good or bad, as long as you're getting a reaction.
Yeah.
However, this is awful is not the reaction that they are wanting.
It's not a fair reaction. Like you said, boos and chants and but this is awful is just a bit much for sure. And it'd be super disheartening for the superstars who are giving their all for something to be chanted, this is awful at.
Yeah, I agree.
You know, it's super disheartening for them. Like I said, I'm excited to see Natalya versus Becky Lynch, but
I think they're totally valid. But I think that comes down to this is the problem that we were talking about, like with the women's roster, being kind of shallow.
Yeah,
we're seeing a lot of the same stuff. So there is already that bad taste in the mouth.
Definitely.
And I think that's kind of where it stems from.
Yeah.
And then because no one's really a big fan of Natalya, really. So for them to come out and go, hey, Natalya, everyone goes, oh.
I guess.
Because once you see like Natalya and Bliss in the ring, you go, ooh, I know where this is going.
Yeah.
Like, yeah, I think that's probably where it's gone down.
Yeah.
And finally, Bobby Lashley has pitched a match with Brock Lesnar. Now that Lesnar is once again the WWE Universal Champion, Lashley tweeted the following. Thanks everyone for the birthday wishes. Next step, get at Heyman Hustle to inform the quote champ when he's done with Seth. I'm waiting. # Bobby versus Brock. # Raw. Dash says nobody wants to see that match.
Nah.
I agree. Fuck that match. I don't want to see a super match. The last thing I want to see is Bobby Lashley and fucking Brock Lesnar. I don't want to see Bobby Lashley, period. Like, I don't think he's all that crash hot. I don't think he's all that good. So aside from his little scuffle with Braun Strowman, there's nothing about him that I really care about.
Yeah, I couldn't agree. Even with his scuffle, with Braun, I just meh.
Yeah.
Yeah, it fell flat for me. Look, Bobby Lashley's been around a long time. I've watched Bobby Lashley for a long time. I've liked Bobby Lashley for a long time, but now he's just falling flat for me. Yeah. When he had Leo Rush around, it sort of gave him a bit of hype. Now it's just falling a bit flat.
Yeah. I would much rather see the likes of, because if you want to talk about Twitter round, like I think may have been before WrestleMania, where Matt Riddle was like, I want to retire Brock Lesnar. I'm like, yeah, give me fucking Matt Riddle versus Brock Lesnar before I see Bobby Lashley versus Brock Lesnar.
Yeah, 100%.
Fuck that, I'm gonna see that.
100%. Couldn't agree more.
Yeah. So Bobby Lashley, I like, weird stretch, weird flex.
Yeah.
Not happening, brother.
Yeah, weird flex.
It is not happening. But what is happening is the end of this show. So let us know what you thought of the dirt sheet. And remember, if you find some backstage knowledge that we haven't mentioned here on the show, be sure to let us know in the Facebook group, Discord, links in the description. Let us know on Twitter. If you find some background situations you want us to talk about, let us know. We'll make it happen. This podcast does come to you every Friday morning at 8 a.m. on your podcast services, including Spotify, 9 a.m. on those YouTubes. As we said 1,000 times, if you want to join that wrestling conversation, head over to popculturist.com. Nope, don't go there. Go to facebook.com/popculturist, Discord, or go to Twitter. All links are in the description below. If you want to support the show and watch us record this show live, head over to patreon.com/popculturist. Any dollar value, you get a sneaky little link to come and join us as we do the show. If you want to support us in more one-style fashion, head over to popculturist.com/shop. We can buy shirts like this and other assorted shit with our logos on it. We are also on Twitch at twitch.tv/thepopculturist. And if you do want some more betting in your day, head over to on a Monday to the show For the Players, the Pop Culturist PlayStation podcast. So when you're done with those wrestling chats and you want to get some if you wanted to get a little bit extra bets. Head over there, check that out. Now, I just got a notification here on Discord from Kilobyte. He did mention Bella has officially retired last month due to having a cyst on her brain. We did notice that in the chat earlier. We did notice that she had retired. I think she did some interview where she pretty much explained that I wanted to come back. She was supposed to be doing a run for the tag team championship with her and Brie up against the Iconics after Mania, but due to this, she went and got the check and no, not happening. Sorry, my bad.
That's full on.
But yeah, so she did previously have a jacked neck, and that was one of the reasons.
Yeah, she had to have surgery on that.
The surgery, and that was kind of put her out of biz forever. But then she got it back to a reasonable health. Went and got checked, and they're like, no, you have a gnarly cyst. It's not looking good.
That's intense.
It's very intense.
Hopefully she gets better soon.
Fingers crossed.
Yeah.
But, we'll let you guys go and enjoy the rest of your day. Thank you very much for checking out The Young and the Wrestlers. I'm Ryan Betson.
And I'm the Big Jem Machine. Jem.
We'll see you next week.
Bye.